Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Flash movie Ben Affleck Batman. This is the Platinum Chase variant, and this is done in the proper blue and gray colors. I got this guy at Walmart today. The case assortment that I saw had 1 Platinum Ben Affleck Batman, 2 Platinum Lucius Fox, 1 Platinum Batman Beyond Batman, and then 2 regular Adam West Batman figures. I can't believe they're still making Flash figures after all this time. They originally made this guy in the wrong colors, and I assume that's just wrong information McFarlane was given when developing the toys, but who knows. So let's take a look at the package. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse, the Flash movie, Batman. McFarlane Platinum Edition, meaning it's a little bit more rare than a regular figure. Here he is in the package. It looks like we have 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 hands. Display stand and collector's card. One side of the package, Batman from the Flash. Other side, Batman. At the bottom, there's his barcode if that helps. And on the back, you can see Batman sort of gliding down. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And of course, I did get 2 of these figures. One of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. And here's the properly colored Platinum Chase Ben Affleck Batman, next to the original black version. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. We have a display stand, collector's card. It really doesn't come with any traditional accessories, doesn't come with much at all. Just 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Batman from The Flash. But there are 2 different Batmans in that film. This is the Ben Affleck Batman, and it's in a different suit that he hasn't worn in the DC Cinematic Universe before. He has sort of a fabric-type suit with different armor plates on top, and it's done in the blue and gray color scheme. They previously released his figure done in the black color scheme, and like I said before, pretty sure it was just bad information given to McFarlane by Warner Brothers. They probably changed that CGI in post-production. I don't know. But we have the proper figure almost a year later, so let's take a look. Starting with his head here, I've always had a problem with the way his head is shaped. It's really long, and I've always called him horse-like. It looks kind of like a horse, just the way the chin is shaped and the head. Now, that being said, it's kind of a weak paint job, at least the flesh parts. I've seen some people repaint this, and it looks a whole lot better. A paint job can really make a difference. Add a little bit of more realistic flesh, some stubble, fill in that little dimple on his chin, and it can actually look like Ben Affleck. But as is now, it looks pretty basic, and I guess we have the blue platinum horse fleck. Going further down, we have the typical Ben Affleck Batman symbol, really fat and wide, kind of like Dark Knight Returns. Gray armor plates on top of a darker gray sort of fabric suit. Utility belt here. He actually has a thigh cut, which is not very common for a McFarlane figure. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, cloth soft goods cape, and with all the cloth wired capes I've been doing lately, this one seems kind of underwhelming and kind of crappy. Notice how different the color scheme is between the cowl and the cape, and this should sort of be one flowing piece. As a whole, he looks good. There's not really a lot of texturing on the fabric suit. It's pretty smooth. Same with the armor pieces. But I'm happy to have the proper version, even though it's a bit late. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And I don't know about you, but to me it just doesn't scream Ben Affleck Batman. Not only is the paint job bad, but just the shape of the head doesn't look right to me. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out the accessories. Starting off with the boring stuff. Here's the McFarlane display stand, the same one we've seen time and time again. It's thin, it's basic. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Ben Affleck wearing this suit, sort of a drawn version of him from The Flash, Batman for The Flash. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Here's this new proper blue and gray collector's card next to the original one. Looks like they took the same image and just sort of edited the colors on it. Next, let's look at his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 right hands and 2 left hands. Here he is with the first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his alternate pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands for the accessories that he does not come with. Now let's look at the differences and similarities between this new platinum version of the Ben Affleck Batman and the original black version. And besides the obvious paint differences, it's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, so let's take a look. Starting off with their faces, exact same sculpt. They both have a different sort of tone on the flesh, and they both look absolutely horrible. There are things I like about the black one and things I like about the blue one. As a whole, the black one probably is a better look, but the blue one is screen accurate and it's cool to see him in the blue and gray color scheme. We have the armor plates that you can barely see on this guy, but a lot more prominent here because of the different color grays. Belt's different, the diaper piece. Like I said, they both look good, but you can totally see the detail and the armor plating on this guy, whereas here it's really hard to see the different pieces because it's all one color. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to just over 18 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, probably about 7.3 inches tall. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up and down a pretty good amount. That's going to really help him in good poses on the bat cycle. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes up about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got this butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and is hinged. Torso, he has a ball joint hidden nicely into the armor plate. Rotate around barely at all, forward and back. Nothing on the waist. Rotate around, forward and back. And the articulation cut is under the belt, a little bit different. Usually the belt's part of the diaper piece. Between the two, you get a lot more out of the waist than the torso. The torso barely gets anything on this guy. Legs go out about this far. McFarlane style hip joints. They have a thigh cut, which is unusual, and it does look kind of bad because you have the diaper piece on top of this with a cut here. They go out about that far. Double jointed knees and the ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt rock, although mine seems a little bit stuck. And of course, toe articulation. Here's a look at this Batlfeck on the bat cycle in the Batcave. And here's a look at the new blue and gray Batlfeck next to the Batlfeck, also on bat cycles, in front of the Flying Fox in the Batcave. Now try saying that 10 times fast. Here's this Batman in the Batcave, sitting at the Bat computer. Batman at the Bat computer, figuring out his next move. Batlfeck gets onto the bat cycle, heads out to the streets of Gotham. For this next scene, let's switch to a street-type setting. Here's the Ben Affleck Batman driving that bat cycle down the streets of Gotham City. Batman's chasing after some criminals in Gotham City. Flash comes to help out his mentor and buddy. And here's a side view of Batman driving the bat cycle and Flash running alongside. Of course, the Flash is going to be a ton faster than this bat cycle. And here's both the Michael Keaton Batman and the Batlfeck, both on the bat cycles, helping each other rid the streets of Gotham City of crime. Unfortunately, from what I'm told, they don't even interact in the film, which makes sense to a point. Barry Allen's the only one that can cross between the two different multiverses, but it feels like such a missed opportunity to have the two Batmans together. Here's a look at the Batlfeck on top of a roof of Gotham City, its watchful protector, and a closer look at this Batman holding a Batarang. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Batlfeck figures. Here's the blue and gray proper Batlfeck next to the original black version. And I do remember when there was leaked footage of Ben Affleck driving the Batcycle, he was in an all-black costume, so clearly they did change it to blue in post-production CGI. And here he is, next to the Batman vs. Superman Batlfeck figure. Then, next to all 4 versions of McFarlane's Batlfeck from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Ben Affleck Batman figures. We have a total of 7 of them, and they still haven't made the regular version from Justice League. Now let's check them out. Next to some Batlfeck figures from different various companies. Here he is, next to the Fonjoy Batlfeck. And here he is, next to a DC Direct Batlfeck from Batman vs. Superman. Then, next to a couple of Mezco Batlfeck figures. And now, with a couple of Mafex Batlfeck figures. And next, with a couple of Mattel DC Multiverse Ben Affleck Batman figures. And finally, with a couple of Mattel basic Ben Affleck Batman figures. Now let's check them out with some of the McFarlane Flash movie figures. Here he is next to the initial assortment of 6 figures. Dark Flash, Supergirl, Michael Keaton Batman, Ben Affleck Batman, Barry Allen Flash, and then the younger Barry Allen Flash wearing the altered Batman Returns Batman costume. And here he is, next to the unmasked Michael Keaton Batman. This was a Target exclusive, at least in the US. Then, next to the darker version of the Flash. This one was a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. And here's the entire McFarlane DC Multiverse Flash movie collection. I guess it is finally complete, although there are still plenty of figures I can make from it, especially from those cameos and Easter eggs at the end. And here's a look at the entire Flash movie wave. We have a total of 8 figures now. It is finally complete. And don't forget the 2 vehicles in the background as well. Here he is, next to my 2 favorite McFarlane Batman figures. The larger Hush Batman and the Nightfall Batman. You can see the Ben Affleck Batman scales kind of in the middle, a little closer to the Nightfall Batman though. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the rest of the most recent Platinum Wave. We have Batman Begins Lucius Fox, the Flash movie Ben Affleck, Hugo Strange's Batman, and Bullseye Batman. Here's Batlfeck, next to the most recent Batman Wave. We have the Adam West Batman, Dick Grayson Batman, and both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Fusion Batman Superman. And here he is, next to the 6th wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. Clock King, Red Hood, Ragman, and Agent Liberty. Each of these 4 figures has a Platinum Chase variant out there, and I'm on the hunt for them. If anybody has a lead on where I might be able to get one, or can possibly help me out, drop me a line in the comments below. It is much appreciated. Then, with the Walmart exclusive, Max Mercury, and now, with the DC Classics Darkseid Mega figure. Here's Batlfeck, next to the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Superman Centennial Park tribute statue. And here he is, next to the previous Platinum Wave, Sportsmaster, Manhunter, and New 52 Reverse Flash. Then, with the DC Rebirth Tim Drake Robin, and both the Platinum and regular versions of the Cyborg Superman. And now, with the 5th wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Sergeant Rock, Manga Batman, and Connor Kent Superboy. And finally, next to the 2nd digital wave, Green Arrow, Superman, and the Atom. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix them with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. Here he is, next to some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here's his Batman, next to a Twisted Donut. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA Batman figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel Batman figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, it's a pretty cool Batlfeck figure. I think the colors look better than the black version. Sort of yes and sort of no. I think as a whole he looks better in the black and gray or the more black suit. It's more realistic for the Ben Affleck Batman. But this one is more accurate to the movie, and I think it makes for a better action figure. The armor plating is much more noticeable in this one, with a lighter gray on top of the darker gray. The other one, it almost looks like he just has one solid black suit. The blue on the cowl and the cape, they really just pop in contrast with the rest of the figure, and visually, it's pretty pleasing. I think it looks good. And like I said, it's actually accurate to the film. I'm certain it's not McFarlane's fault that they made Batman in the wrong colors. I'm sure it was just something changed in post-production, blah, 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 whatever. But it's nice to finally have the real deal. The head sculpt, I'm not a fan of. The paint job, at least on the face, not a fan of either. I've seen some people repaint it, and it completely changes the way it looks. But with the standard factory paint, it looks like Horsefleck. Seen some custom jobs that make it actually look like Batfleck. His accessories, pretty much non-existent. Sculpted paint job, well, the sculpt's there. Paint job, a little rough. It looks great on the body, though. His articulation is everything you'd expect from a modern McFarlane figure. If I were to rate this guy, I want to say 7. I'm probably going to land him at a 6.5. I'd say the original one has probably gone down in my eyes, and this one is a tad better than that one. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.